All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Otaku Talk Anime Podcast. I am Theo, and this is episode 4 of the Otaku Talk Anime Podcast. I'm joined alongside my fellow co-host Colin Mulheron. I'm he's calling in from a mud hut out in India. So, the Wi-Fi is really good there, so you can hear him crystal clear. Thank you, Colin. And I've also joined alongside someone living, not inhabiting T Series land with me here.
So, of course, this is me, Carson, or Meowden is my web handle, but yeah, that doesn't really matter.
So yes, Colin is in India because he's decided to spend $6,000 to go to a country that I would consider developing instead of spending 2 weeks in his nice warm house with Wi-Fi and anime.
Wait, hold on, wait, what was that, Colin? Oh, you said it was actually $7,000. Ooh, that's not good looks, my guy.
Wow, we're saving money over here.
See,
Um,
I've spent like $10 this whole spring break.
I spent $17 because I went to Walmart today and saw Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind, and I'm like, oh crap, I want that, so I bought it,
That's
and I'm gonna watch
respectable.
that at some point.
I think I
So,
might go out here one of these days and get RDR2.
oh yeah, you should get that because I'd like to play online and not by myself where a bunch of lunatics are just gonna run around
Mm.
chasing me down.
I might get it tomorrow.
Epic.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're listening at home wondering, episode 4, what
Nani?
what happened to episode 3? Um yeah, so we did episode 3. We streamed it. It's on Twitch. You can go onto Twitch, and I highlighted it because it'd be a waste to just throw it all away. But you see, whenever we were recording it, because I had been screwing around with my microphone earlier that day, I had set my microphone sensitivity lower than what it usually was, meaning that the noise gate, anytime I would talk, it picked me up for a second and then it just cut me out. So throughout the majority of that episode, it wasn't pointed out until later on in the episode. Uh, so for the majority, you could like my microphone was cutting in and out. So it, I figured I might as well just not publish it. I'll just keep it on Twitch for those who are interested. But in that episode, we just talked about like with the Crunchyroll Awards, we just roasted it basically because My Hero, of course.
That was
And
a good podcast too, though.
yeah, it was so good. I felt so good after that one. But today I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like we're gonna do even better.
You know what? I got you there, fam. I got you.
Yeah, another podcast. Colin wasn't there for that one either. He was too busy debating with a bunch of freshmen. Uh,
Although
so
he did get an award for outstanding in the parking lot with dueling with freshmen. But I mean, hey, that just be how it is.
so yeah. And on the last episode, we mentioned a challenge between Carson and I. Since we were on spring break, the first week has now ended of spring break. I challenged him because I wanted to watch a lot of anime this spring break and needed as much motivation as I could get. So I challenged him to a duel to see who could watch more anime during spring break.
Yeah.
And
So you know, I'll you. I mean, fuck it. I'll be vain for a second here. I'm currently ahead by what's that 20 36 points
Jesus,
for episodes. Wait, can I count? No, I
Yeah,
can't count.
that's 26.
That's 26. I can't count. There's a reason I have a C in calculus, but
So
uh,
Carson has watched in the past week, the first week of spring break, from Friday, March 1st until today, when we're recording this, which is March 9th, 2019 at 8:11 p.m. Eastern Time. He has 110 episodes while I have 84 episodes, which 84 episodes for 1 week, that's like a record for me probably.
yeah, I mean, I will be the first to admit watching 110 episodes. It's not very healthy. It's really not. But also, I am not afraid. I'm not ashamed to say it. I like anime a lot. I think it's probably better as a whole than live television because live television is boring and you can't have the dank special effects
There are no
that you can
anime
with animation.
titties in
That is a
live action.
that's a very fair point. Although I did see a cursed image yesterday
Oh
of
no.
our boy Ted Cruz with fat anime titties, and I wanted to kill myself right there.
Oh my god, why am I Googling this?
It's intriguing in like a really awful way that makes you want to kill yourself.
Um, yeah, luckily this isn't coming up. It's just normal anime boobs coming up, which I appreciate. Um,
Oh, yeet my mallet, dang.
so yeah,
Very tough.
we're still battling. We'll talk about like the shows that we watched since episode 3. You won't hear what we watched in between episode 2 and 3 since we technically did that on episode 3, even though episode 3 was never published. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I'll
Hey
take
man,
I'll take the blame for that.
any true fans out there will go and they will like try to decipher the code.
I will say,
Any
like, the
any
last
real
20
ones out
minutes
there.
is fine. Like, the chat yelled at me in the last 20 minutes and I fixed it.
Yo, if
And
there's any problems now, please yell at Theo in the chat.
yeah, it should be fine. I'm looking at the meter now. I'm like keeping a close eye on it, and it's fine on OBS. So, and also, I'm not having to worry about my microphone picking up someone sitting next to me because the Pat episodes 2 and 3, one of our hosts was in the same room as me as we were recording, so I was always trying to make sure that they wouldn't get like double audio.
Wait,
So,
yo, is my mic turning up fine on OBS?
oh yeah, it's fine.
All
You're
right,
fine.
cool,
Yeah,
cool.
everything is all good.
Daijobu, my guy.
so
Daijobu.
so since no one got, unless you check out Twitch, since our review or discussion of Violet Evergarden which wasn't heard, which I thought was a pretty good discussion.
It was
You
pretty. It
know,
was a good discussion. I
you
mean, it
know,
was a little bit repetitive about like how absolutely stunning the animation for Violet Evergarden is.
yeah, we might as well
But
just
like,
like give our our TLDR on our thoughts. So
yeah,
I'll just say for Violet Evergarden, the greatest piece of animation and art in an anime as of now. Like no anime movie looks better, and no other show looks as good as Violet Evergarden yet. I'm sure it'll be passed, but and also the story. While I can understand why it wouldn't grab everybody and it could seem slow, I think it's a very beautiful story. Uh, episode the 10th episode of the show. If you don't want to watch the whole
ooh,
show, at least
because I
watch
mean, you
episode
really don't
10.
have to. Like
It's an
after,
episodic show.
yeah, I mean, you like. I think if you watch like the first episode and like maybe the second episode, then you can just like skip through to episode 10, which is, in my opinion, I think it's the best episode.
Oh yeah.
Although Although, in all fairness, all the episodes are pretty good, except for like one, which is like there's two episodes that are like, wait, why? Like, Like why? I think it's like episode like 6 and episode.
I think episode 6, but I thought episode 6 was the playwright, which is which is really good.
No. I think that's episode 7. Episode 6, I'm pretty sure is the that's the weird like mountain one with like the monks and like the ancient scrolls and shit.
the transcribing the
Yeah, that one.
ancient text. I'm just gonna say, while I do recommend watching the whole show,
Oh no, you definitely should. Definitely should. Any listeners out there,
like
100% should.
if you really just I demand everyone watches at least episode 10. But
That's fair. That's
but
fair.
I do encourage you to watch all of it. But episode 10 and whichever episode has the playwright is also a
I think
must
it's
watch.
7. I'm pretty sure that's episode 7.
Episode 6 or 7,
You know what? I'll whip it out right now. Hold up.
but it's a must watch.
That has one of the scenes in that is the most iconic scenes in the show for sure.
Yeah, I
Oh
made
my god. Oh my god.
yeah, this when she's running over the water, that's some of the art for the
Oh no. I just said oh my god because they added JoJo's to
Oh
Netflix.
yeah, I saw that. I saw that today. I'm like, "Oh my
Love this
god,
so funny.
why?"
Oh, what's that, Colin?
What I thought we were gonna Colin is not here, yet we're still talking about JoJo. Why? Why?
Uh, that's my bad. I'll
Next
take
next
the fall.
next episode, we're not even gonna mention it. We're not mentioning
deal.
JoJo. And
That's
before
a deal.
Colin comes on in from the airplane, it's like, "Hey guys, it's JoJo's."
Ooh, I was right. It is episode 7.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's the playwright. Then episode 10.
So, Violet Evergarden.
God tier episodes. Violet Evergarden.
Well, there's some episodes there are some episodes that are stronger than others, but the strong episodes are like really strong.
Yeah.
And
then like the regular episodes are just like they're strong.
There's not any episode I would say is bad. Like I can understand some being boring, but
I mean that is fair.
That's
You
subjective.
do have to give. Yeah, it is a very subjective thing, but I think it is also fair to say that like some episodes, not all that, like comparatively, just not as good as the others.
So yeah, just to start wrapping things up, I'll say Violet Evergarden looks amazing. Episode 10 is one of the greatest episodes of anime I've ever seen. Not the greatest, but one of. And while it's not as strong, there's some parts that some people might not like be interested in. The highs of the show are really high, and the lows of the show are still pretty fucking high.
Yeah. Like the lows of the show are like maybe. I think the lowest point is probably like medium.
Yeah, so I rated the show with a 9+, and that's what I voted for best anime of 2018. So, anything else on Violetto Evergarden des?
Just some of my thoughts from episode 3 is just like it's the first anime of its kind, like animation wise, like purely animation style wise. It's not going to be the last though. Like I very much so believe that others will start to like develop a similar style of just flow and detail that Violet Evergarden has that just makes it like such an incredibly animated show.
Yeah, Kyoto Animation, the studio who made Violet Evergarden and has made a ton of other amazing shows, and they're I'd say they make the best anime as of now. They're the best studio, but they announced earlier in like towards the end of 2018 their next like adaptation of an adaptation of a light novel or a novel called like 20th century something, but just judging by the synopsis, and I'm able to tell that that show I'm predicting will have amazing, like better animation. It's set like early 1900s. I feel like they're gonna do make a even better show with that story. So I'm excited for
Well,
that.
I mean, Violet Evergarden was set in like it
It's like
kind
in
of
a
like
fantasy world, but it
it.
has like a
Well,
steampunk
I feel like
medieval
it's.
feel.
I feel like it's a lot closer to. No, I feel like it's closer to mid 20th century Europe.
Oh, here we go. I found the show. It's called 20th Century Electricity Catalog. So, I'm like we've gotten very little information about this besides like the synopsis of the novel, but all we know is that Kyoto Animation has announced it that they'll be adapting this. So, I'm super excited.
Yeah,
But
I'll watch it.
there's also a Violet Evergarden movie coming out next year, 2020, that
I'll probably watch that too.
with a movie budget, it's gonna look even better.
Yeah, if every episode looks like episode 7, oh my god. Holy moly. That's gonna be something, all right.
So yeah, I might as well just say my the shows I'd write if you like Violet Evergarden, you might as well watch Go Sick because similar atmosphere of like war and like 19th century feel, or not 19th century, 1900s feel, but a little bit different plot. Also, like main characters, like a little bit similar, not as emotionless as, or not as deadbeat as Violet is throughout the majority. And Kino's journey, just because it's episodic, whether it's the reboot or the original
Oh yeah,
episodic.
I need to watch that. Forgot about that.
Yeah, it's episodic. What deals with some interesting themes and their travel from place to place. So yeah, you know, so that let's start the actual podcast. That was episode 3 that we were just recapping. So this episode, the main topic is going to be anime cliches. Every anime has some cliche. Is this dog gonna shut up?
Colin, is that you?
Um, you know, Jesus, all all there's so many cliches in anime. Some are fine, but then there's some that are just really dumb. So, and then we're gonna be discussing the anime from the summer 2018 season, Asobi Asobase. So, yeah.
That'll be
Now,
funny.
so now let's talk about the things we've watched since recording but not uploading episode 3. So, the next day after recording but not uploading episode 3, Carson and I watched I rewatched Shin Sakayori. It was first time viewing for him. Watched it all in one day. It was epic.
It
And then
was epic. It was pretty hype too.
and it's one of my favorite shows.
We had school the next day too, and we finished at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was
Worth it
legendary.
though.
It was
Definitely worth
legendary.
it.
Shin Sakayori's my second favorite anime of all time. I really like it. Um, and then in between that and just the week of school, it was a busy week of school because it was the end of a marking period, so lots of crap to do. So I only like cleaned up some things. I finished the last 4 episodes of my rewatch of F A Tale of Melodies, which it took me too long to finish that rewatch. And then I finished the Kino's Journey reboot, which I started watching as it was airing in fall 2017, and then just had on my on hold forever, and then decided to just watch the last 2 episodes. And then now here this is where we get into the challenge. This is like I started off. Well, I started off by watching 6 episodes of Full Metal Alchemist, but I I haven't watched any since then. And then I watched the movie by Kyoto Animation, Liz and the Bluebird, which it was like a side story to. It wasn't. It was just like a had the same some of the same side characters from Hibike Euphonium, and it looked really good. And I thought the story was okay. Like I think the story was the weakest. It just didn't hit me like it hit some others, which is strange because it has like some heavy Yuri undertones, and usually I'd be like all on board for that, but I didn't really make the connections. I thought it looked amazing, and I liked the movie. It just I didn't think it was a 10. I gave it a nice strong 8, but I think it's a good movie, but not like an amazing movie. And then I watched Honey and Clover season 1, and then after that I finished Kanagi. Like I watched like and the reason why I watched this show, I had never heard of this show until I watched it. Like the only reason I heard of it was because I went onto the Clanad subreddit one day and someone posted a picture of a magazine from 10 years ago that a Japanese anime magazine from 10 years ago that had Clanad on the cover. And I was like, "Oh, that's sick." And I was like trying to read the cover because it was in Japanese. I wanted to like see if I could read any of it. And I see Kanagi. I'm like, "Oh, what's this show?" And I'd never heard of it. And I was like, "Seems like a nice show to like waste some time. Perfect for this challenge." So I watched it, and it was all right. Kind of it, it, it was slightly above average, I'd say. And then I watched all of Honey and Clover season 2 in one day because Honey and Clover was so stressful for me to watch, and so I just yanked the band-aid off when I watched it. Um and then after that, I rewatched Asobi Asobase for the podcast. I started watching Great Teacher Onizuka, but I'm gonna finish that after I finish the next show that I started, which is March Comes In Like a Lion season 2. So far, oh mama, it's good. So yeah, that's what I watch. And what did Colin watch? Nothing. Well, I mean, to be fair, he watched his seasonal shows, I think, before in between episode 3 and now, like before he left
Yeah,
for
that's
T
true.
Series land.
Like what? Rising of a Shield Hero.
Yeah,
Um.
he did
Oh,
catch up to Sword Art Online Alicization
that's true. He watched
and
he watched
Kaguya-sama.
some. He also watched some Bleach. Um. Also, he rewatched Boku no Pico for the third time.
I thought he was on number 6.
I mean, I don't know. I thought it was 3 or 4, but you might know how many times he's seen it better than I have.
So,
Are you checking?
no, I want to see. I feel like he watched something else.
Bleach. No, he started uh Domestic Girlfriend.
Oh yeah, he caught up to Domestic Girlfriend at least whenever he caught up for when he was watching it. He isn't caught up now.
Yeah. No, I think he watched like 6 or
It was
5 or 6
7.
episodes. 7. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it is.
So also, I forgot to mention. So Colin's day count on my anime list. He left for India with 75.8 days on Mal. And I had 74.9 when he left. Now, when Colin made his Mal account, he had like 15 days more than me. But that was 2 years ago. Now, I have 76.3 days on my anime list. which is more than him. So, Colin, if you do listen to this, because I know he listens. Suck it, bitch. You are in the middle, and guess who's rapidly approaching you? Mr. Carson's gonna pass you soon
Oh yeah,
enough.
I have watched a lot of anime, not a lot of time. I'm now at 52.1 days, and
52.1. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
yeah. And last podcast I was at 50.2.
Oh, you're at 51 point something?
No,
Wait.
I was at or no, I was at 50.5 last podcast because I didn't feel well because like adding rewatches, I just like added rewatch because I also had added oh, I guess I can start talking about the shows that I watched. So, after catching up to Alicization, I was like, you know what? It's been a while. I'll rewatch SAO because just why not? That's how I started. And then my seasonal show this go around is Mob Psycho 102. I also saw the movie. I mean, it was a recap movie, but like I just wanted to be well versed in like everything that was happening. See if they added any new information because sometimes I get like clickbaited into that sort of thing. So I was like, you know what, just fuck it. It doesn't matter. I'll watch the movie. So then I did, and it was fine. Mob Psycho 100. It's a good show. Um, then because the reason, so oh god, I just all right. So one of my new favorite animes,
Oh boy.
Osama the Game, the animation. It's got my boy Mamoru Miyano, probably my favorite, well, my favorite voice actor. He's a bro, but god damn it, this Osama Game, the animation. I I just I just can't.
Oh,
I don't even know how to go into it. Jeez,
it
I just
is
can't.
it is the greatest thing to ever come out of Japan.
They
What
never explain anything.
you know what's
I
funny?
don't. I watched the whole show in 2 sittings. I have no idea what happens in any of it.
Want to know what's funny? The studio who made King's Game, their hentai is pretty good.
Oh,
I'd say that.
we were talking about this the other
I
day.
I've seen some of their hentai. It looks pretty good. Oh wait, no. I'm thinking of another studio who made a show that I actually do like.
Oh wait,
Studio
wait,
7. What? Oh yeah,
wait.
they
What show?
they
What show were we
also
talking about?
they also helped with making Beyblade Metal Fusion.
That's what it was. Oh my god, I remember that now because we were just like chilling out and we are like, "Yo, Twitch Presents is doing the Beyblade Metal Fusion." And we're like, "Yo, what else did that studio make?" And there was so much hentai.
Um, let's see. Do I recognize any of this hentai? They made a lot of trash. The Studio 7. Oh, I've seen this. This is pretty good.
Oh my god.
This is a hentai, of course, not an
Yeah.
actual series. Oh, I've seen that. That's pretty good. The only quality show that's ever come out of Studio 7 besides Beyblade Metal Fusion is I'd say I can't understand what my husband is saying, but that only has 3-minute episodes.
I mean, hey, shows with 3-minute episodes aren't
Oh, they did
necessarily bad.
Real Eroge Situation? Oh, that's actually a really good hentai.
Ooh, I might have to add that to my plan.
I
What?
I know they did My Wife is the Student Council President, but that's ecchi trash. Like
That
borderline
sounds
hentai trash.
that sounds so sus.
It's it's whatever. But so yeah, Studio 7. King's Game the animation. Oh.
I just they
Oh.
you know what? People should watch it. Like it's it's a thing, all right.
It's not boring.
I mean, yeah, I did not really stop watching it. Well, I mean, I did, but also like I was watching another show that I was finishing.
I watched King's Game as it was airing, and I was so excited for it because it sounded pretty sick, and I heard it was gonna be really gory. So I was like, oh, this might be a good horror anime. And then the first episode aired, I'm like, I don't know about this. And then after like 2 or 3 episodes, I sent a tweet. It's like, King's
So
Game is
sad.
like low key trash, but I kind of enjoy it.
I guess I'm in that same boat.
And
I can't.
it just turned into a garbage fire that you kept coming back to every week just to see if it could get any worse. And it
And it
just kept
and it
getting worse.
does.
I
And it does.
The thing is, I fell behind. Like towards the end of the series, I like fell behind, and so before the last episode aired, I like had to binge like the 4 episodes of it in a row, like during exam season. It was fun. I think towards the end of the show, it starts to get less trash, but then at the end, it's just like it officially.
But yeah, because like the first 3 or 4 episodes, garbage, and then
Oh,
like
the whole like up until like the
there's like
running
there's like
part.
yeah, there's like 3 good episodes, and it's like, oh hey, these characters aren't total trash, and it's like, oh wait, here comes episodes like 10, 11, 12. Haha, wait, never mind, all the characters are trash.
All right. Remember that part in Nobuaki's backstory?
God, his backstory.
Hold on.
Oh,
I'm just
I don't. I,
remember.
didn't- his whole backstory is.
All right.
I don't even know what you're
The,
gonna say.
the,
Go on.
it's like towards the end.
God.
The bitch just bursts into flames.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Why? Oh, that
See,
show.
that's one of the. See, that's a great example of what I mean when I say they explain almost nothing about that.
Well, I
Like you don't
got
even know
it.
what the King's Game is.
I'm
Like
and I'm pretty sure it's getting us. I'm pretty sure they announced season 2. Season 2.
no.
I
Well,
got.
no. I mean, I remember in the
Oh
last
yeah, no,
episode, like
never mind.
after the final credits, it's like to be continued. I'm like, how the fuck are you going to continue this piece of shit? Like, how is that even
Oh,
possible?
here we go. Season 2 announcement.
There will not be a season 2 because the show received
Yeah.
no money.
Yeah. Whatever. King's Game.
Oh my
The
god.
one of the only 2 shows I've ever given a 1 out of 10.
Give it a 1?
Yeah.
Jeez, I was merciful. I gave it a 4, which is exactly on par with School Days. Oh
You
my
cannot
lord.
say King's Game is better than School Days.
No, I said it's exactly the same
It,
as School
it
Days.
is so much worse.
I don't know.
At least School Days looked good and wasn't trash for like the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, it was trash for like all the other
And
episodes
and
though.
and it was low key genius.
I mean, I don't know.
The
I
only
mean,
way King's Game would be
how many
good.
viruses that are based in humans find themselves online that make people kill themselves?
I remember that made.
That's a
Oh my!
that's a pretty ingenious plot, if you ask me.
I remember that now. That reminds me of Higurashi, except Higurashi's not is actually really good.
Jesus. All
Oh
right,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah,
what a hilarious tangent, though.
yeah. King's Game.
God. All right.
Oh wait, weren't we gonna like do that as a review for the future? Yeah, that's right. We're gonna make.
I still have so much left to say about Osama Game, the animation.
Yeah, we're gonna make King's Game a show we're gonna discuss
Oh my
future
God.
episode. So
just because it's so okay. Other shows I've been watching. Jeez. Kill la Kill. That was an interesting show. Watched Asobi Asobase. Started Chihaya Furu and Clan Ad, and that's kind of where I am now.
So 3 of the shows that he watched are in my top 3 favorite anime.
What, Chihaifu, Clannad, and
Yeah.
Shinsekai?
Even though it's the second season of Chihaya, third favorite,
Yeah.
but
I mean, it's interesting. I am liking it. It's a little slow though, but I am getting into it.
once you get
As
into those tournament arcs, oh baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I see, because, like, for the first 2 episodes, I was like, how are they going to be able to make, like, how is there 25, how is this, like, a two-course show? And then I was like, okay, yeah, I think I can see how this can be a two-course show. And now I'm like, yo,
And then there's a second season that's
there's
also
a
two
second
core,
season.
and third season gets delayed until October. Why? Why?
Yeah, I mean, it does give me time to catch up at a leisurely pace, so, I'm not going to complain
Bruh,
yet.
it was gonna air in April. You're probably gonna be done with it like tomorrow.
I wish, but I kind of have stuff to do tomorrow.
So yeah, that's what we've
All
been
right, yeah.
watching. So
What a that Osama game tangent. Good lord. All right. So back to main topics.
yeah, the main topic for today's episode once again is the many cliches of anime. I went in and added just a I used a picture. There's like a meme that had a ton of cliches for like high school anime that and
And all
I use
and
that as
all of them are so
reference.
true.
I
All
use
of them
that
are so true.
like I'm just whenever I sat there and looked at that meme, I was like, "Oh my god, I can think of 5 shows with this."
Only 5?
Well, with like one of the hundreds on that meme.
Oh yeah,
I use
yeah.
that as reference. I also added like some that came to my head. So, well, I have a list of 28 right here. We probably will think of more. So, let's just jump right into it. Let's just start with the first one I have listed here, which is the very famous the infamous school festival.
Jesus. Literally any anime that is, has any character in high school has a school fest.
Oh, Honey and Clover takes place in college, and like
There's
there's
still
like
a one.
I don't even know how many because it takes place over the course of 3 years. I don't know how many, and they show the festivals each time. I don't know how many. There's a lot. There's a lot. But yeah, school festivals. There's always what are you guys gonna be submitting to your culture fest? At least Asobi Asobase only hinted at the possibility of there being one. They didn't show it.
I mean, they also had it like it was very comedic intentionally of what they did in Asobi Asobase with their thing.
Yeah, the school festival, it's always just a mini arc for high school romance, or not just high school anime, just to have something for the plot to do. Because whenever you're just following, like if it's like a moe slice of life, there's not much that you can make. You have to write the cute girls into the cute situations, and the school festival just happens to be one. And using it in romance shows, like the dance at the end of the festival around the bonfire. That's like, oh man, I'm gonna ask him to dance with me.
That just reminded me so much of school
Yeah,
days.
yeah. That's
Oh
what's in
my
my
god.
mind when I'm thinking of that.
Oh my god.
That's one of the few times I've seen that dance actually stressed that much.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's like not.
I've seen like it in other shows, but the only time people have been like, I really need this. Yeah, school festival, you see it everywhere. Even in Attack on Titan Junior High,
I haven't
which,
seen that.
but that's to be expected. It's just a comedy set in in middle school. The Attack on Titan characters, it's really funny.
Hmm.
Parody show. And then the next one I have is the class trip.
The class trip. To where? Oh, I don't know.
Usually,
Probably Tokyo.
well, if they're in Tokyo, they usually go to like Kyoto
Yeah.
or Osaka.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always the class trip.
Always, always.
There's scenes where guy will sneak into the girls' room. Um, I'm just trying to
You know,
think of
you
other
have like
things.
awkward, like if they're going to like a shrine, you'll have like the girl going like, "Oh, I just wish that my senpai would like me," and the senpai is like, "Oh, wishing for love, are we?" And then the girl like
Like,
acts all flustered, like, "No, no, I wasn't. I swear. Ah, like I was dropping this in for my family," and then just becomes tsundere for a hot sec.
off the top of my head, shows with a class trip that I can think of. There's Citrus. There's
That was my first thought too. Just like oh.
there's Tsukigakure. There's Little Busters. There's what was that show? Oh God, I know it. It was just in my head. Um, oh yeah, Blue Spring Ride. Uh, there's a lot.
Think of another
Oh,
show that
and
takes
then
place in high school.
there's Love Chunibu and Other Delusions. It's Comic Girl. I don't think so. I'm not just gonna scroll through my list for everyone, but like those are just a few I can think of off the top of my.
I mean, almost any anime that you see that's like has a school is gonna have a class trip.
I mean,
Oh,
it's not as infamous.
School Rumble. Wait, did you
Oh
mention
yeah,
School Rumble?
I didn't mention it because I
No,
forgot.
no. I think both seasons of School Rumble actually have a school trip.
Favorites. Clan Ad doesn't have one, so
Oh well.
it has life trips. So
Mm.
last trip, it's not as infamous as the school festival. Like if I thought off the top of my head, anime. Let's do that. Anime off the top of my head that have school festivals. I'm gonna run out of anime. Clan Ad. Aruhi Suzumiya. Um, Attack on Titan Junior High. School Days. School Rumble. Um, Honey and Clover. Uh,
Asobi
I'm just trying to.
Asobase.
There's so many. I'm just trying to. I can't remember. There's so many. Azumanga Daioh. Um. Amagami SS. Uh. It, and let's think of one more.
For which one?
The
Is it school
Culture Fest
Culture Fest?
or the school festival.
Um, 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 uh, yo, hold up. Jesus, why can we not think we should be better than this?
Oh,
Um,
Koito Uso has one. I don't remember Little Bus.
wait, yo, don't they have one in? Do they have one in Angel Beats?
I don't think they do.
Do yeah, maybe not.
Um,
Um,
I mean, I
jeez,
guess I already did say my last one with Koito. Uh, I should think of one more. Um,
mm,
how can I not remember? Pretty sure
mm,
Pet Girl of Sakura Hall has one.
oh
Pet
well,
Girl
for
Sakura.
me, for me, Disastrous Life of Psyche K has one.
Ah, I see.
I mean, you haven't seen that, but like, I have,
Yeah,
so I'll say it.
yeah. So moving on to the next cliche, harem. You know,
Oof.
so many of these. There's a harem. Why?
well, too,
Because
well
they
too
need to.
true.
Because anime studios need to sell merchandise somehow. So if you have a bunch of hot anime girls, What are you going to do with them? You need to make them reoccurring characters, otherwise people aren't going to want to buy their merchandise.
Let's loot them.
Put them in
Some of them.
Let's make them want the main character. That's how we're going to get them on the screen. And we're going to put them in situations where it's going to make people want to buy them. So, yeah. I don't want to go too much more into harem because there's just a lot. So then there's
Well, I think we could say all right, very easy start off for harem to say literally every isekai.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Like literally every single isekai I've ever seen has had a harem.
I would actually 3. All right. Well, if you say of at least 3, Vision of Escaflowne does not. Boom. Get right. But Vision of Escaflowne was also from 1998, so.
Oh, well, bah.
So, and it was also a shoujo, so it wasn't targeted at that demographic. I mean, it was if anything, it was a reverse harem, but there was only 2 dudes, so.
I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah, isekai, and a lot of just the only harem high school romance that haven't sucked are the key adaptations like Clannad, Canon,
School Days.
That's not a key.
It may as well be.
And Little Busters. Yeah, harem. You see that a lot.
Harem's definitely a good one though.
And then their next one is the beach/pool episode. You know, some have both, some only have one, but most shows have at least one of them.
Yeah, like even Osama Game the animation has a beach episode. I mean, like, it's kind of low key, but like there are people swimming in the ocean. And like I'm going to count that as a beach episode.
Even the grotesque horror anime Another has a beach episode. Now, grotesque things happen on that beach and it's hilarious. Oh, I think the horror in that show is hilarious, but there's a beach episode in that. Darling in the Franxx has a beach episode. Yes, Darling in the Franxx, a mecha in a dystopian world, has a beach episode.
The first show we did a podcast on, SS Gridman,
oh yeah,
another, like, I guess mecha sci-fi. It has a, I mean, it's a whitewater rafting thing, but that's like
that's basic.
A river is basically just a long ass pool. Let's be real here.
I'd count. It's a swimsuit episode.
It's a swimsuit episode. That's probably the best way to classify that, as swimsuit episode.
Yeah. Asobi Asobase doesn't have a swimsuit episode.
Although, in all fairness, they are in middle school.
I mean, you think that stopped other shows?
Oh, it definitely hasn't. And that's a little bit disconcerting, but sometimes that's just how it is.
Now, Code Geass, I'm pretty sure, has a beach episode. It might be like one of those, like, borderline.
Does it?
I think it's a borderline beach episode, but it's not for filler purposes. I don't think. I can't quite remember.
Steins Gate doesn't.
Steins Gate doesn't.
I don't. Well, I mean, I haven't finished Code Geass, so I don't know. But I mean, it might. I wouldn't.
Oh, Code Geass has a school festival.
Oh my god!
And it's in season 2.
Oh my god!
People are like, oh, Theo, why do you hate Code Geass season 2? It's not because of the culture fest. It's just because it fucking sucks.
if you hated Culture Fest, you'd be in for a really rough ride.
All right, this next one, I can give a pass to the cliches we've listed so far, but this cliche I hate. I'm so sick of. I've seen it too much. It's the reason why I like a certain scientific railgun a lot more than a certain magical index. And this is the walking into a girl changing cliche.
Now, School Rumble does a really good job, and they flip that so the girl walks in on the guy changing. Oof.
Uh,
R.I.P. Hari Mackenzie.
but a certain magical index, they couldn't go 2 episodes without my boy Toma walking in on some girl changing, and then she's like,
Wait,
"How? It's your fault," and then beats him up.
every two episodes?
Basically, that's probably
What?
an exaggeration, but it happens
Still,
too many times. Like
Jesus.
it got to the point where I'm like, Jesus Christ, why are these girls even getting mad anymore? He's basically spent half his life looking at them naked.
It's like, oh, well, gee, I mean, I wish you'd knock, but I mean, that's fine, I guess. Whatever. It doesn't really matter at this point.
Like I can understand, using it once, maybe if it's a longer series, using it twice, because it
Okay.
can get some
How about
laughs.
how about once per core?
Yeah, once a core, I can understand that.
Maybe
That's
maybe
reasonable.
twice, maybe twice if it's the kind of show that has that kind of like comic relief.
But like
But
twice
more than
every arc. I'm
yeah,
sorry,
that
certain magical
uh-uh.
index. That's annoying. It's annoying.
Yeah.
And you wonder why. What did I give season 2? Like, season 1 was fine. Season 2, I hated. Season 2 of a certain magical index, I gave it a 5. And the season 3, at least the first 4 episodes I watched, it wasn't fixing that problem.
Was
Yeah.
it exacerbating it?
Well, it wasn't quite walking in on girls changing. It was in the first or the second episode, the dude he skydive, he like has to parachute out of a plane, and he lands on one of the girls. And of
Oh
course,
my
the
god.
girl tries to like catch him or something, but she gets in the
Oh my
river and he
god.
lands on her and her shirt gets wet, so she decides to take off her undershirt and only wear her blouse. I was on top of it. And it's just it's while my eyeballs and lower brain appreciated it a lot, it
Lower
was
brain.
so dumb. I'm just ready for Railgun season 3. But yeah, that's a cliche. I can think of more, but I don't really want to, because this cliche is just dumb. The
Yeah,
walk.
that's fair. I mean, you definitely see it a lot, but I do kind of agree with you. It's like the first time it's like, oh, haha, that's kind of funny, but then it's like, all right, I
like
saw
like
this in like
sometimes
literally
the
every other show.
reaction the reaction the girl's reaction sometimes funny, and
True.
it's also a good opportunity at fan service.
Very
um
true. Very true.
oh yeah, Darling in the Franks has one of those scenes. I remember it, and it turns into a whole episode, a whole filler episode. Oh,
Jesus, that sounds bad.
it's not that bad. It's kind of funny.
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
like they walk in, and then the girls of the group decide, because they all live in the same house, to like set boundaries, and guys can't cross the line. And
Oh my god. That's like getting to like a trope in and of itself.
yeah,
It's not quite like you see it maybe every couple shows, but like that's like one of the obscure ones.
yeah, but of course Zero Two doesn't listen to it, and she just hops on over, and so she can ride the dragon of my boy Hiro.
You know,
um
that's just how life works, you know? That's how mafia works.
That's how mafia works. That's how anime works.
It is how
All
anime
right,
works.
this next cliche, I'm. This is probably my least favorite out of all of these. I hate this one the most.
Ooh,
The most.
true.
I've seen
Major
it.
clickbait.
I've seen it too many times.
Well, that's because you watch too many romance
Yeah,
shows.
yeah. And so many romance anime, their ratings for me have suffered so much because of this cliche. They spend the whole series building up to this moment, a single moment. You spend the whole series developing the relationship between the guy and the girl, and then the last episode, for most shows, it's the last episode. You know, at the end, they're about to kiss. You want it. You're like, please, please. But that kiss is never going to happen. Because what happens? Someone's phone rings. Someone walks in the room. It's just something happens.
Yeah.
Something.
Ball comes flying through the window. Uh, somebody just like comes bursting through a wall, just like not even using the door, just like bursts straight through the
A
wall.
meteor hits Earth.
Literally anything happens. It's like okay, like it's, but it's not like it's normally not like a like super major or minor inconvenience. It's just major enough of an inconvenience to stop the kiss. It's like wow, major block right there.
So,
Very uncool.
so I have a story of a show that wronged me twice
Ooh,
with this.
what
I'm not
show?
gonna say the show because I basically be telling you what happens in the entirety of the show. But
Oh.
if you've seen the show, I'm gonna make it so obvious that if you've seen the show, you're gonna know, and you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that happens." All right, so the first time, this is during a class trip, so there's already that
Of
cliche,
course it is. Of
and
course it
and
is.
the main dude's girlfriend sneaks in to the main dude's room, and they're like snuggling or something, talking. I don't really remember. I watched this with a bunch of friends. Um, and they're about to kiss. Their eyes are locked. You know, we all want it. We're sitting there like, do it, do it, do it. But what happens? Sensei, think there's a girl in here.
Oof. That is
Or
that
no, no,
is
no, no. Sensei, this girl isn't in her room. I can't find her. Yeah, or something
oof.
like that. Somebody bursts in. They're under the covers, and they didn't. Nobody sees it, but that's what interrupts it. And then that's like
Best
halfway
believe.
through the show. I don't remember where in the show, but it's like not the last episode. But in the last episode,
Oh my
you know,
lord.
they've the second half is like, from what I remember, was more dramatic, and they're really wanting to develop the relationship, and so they're about to kiss under a bridge. Like, we're all like, yes, please do it, please, please. They're so close, so close. And then the main dude's phone rings, and his sister's like, Oni-chan, the kittens were born. I
I, I
I
will murder
went
you.
berserk. I went berserk. I would have given that show much better rating had it not done that. I liked it. The first season I thought was very good. And the second season could have been a little bit better had it not done this. But luckily it got has a movie that came out that I haven't seen yet. But I got a feeling it's probably gonna. I don't know. The movie's supposed to conclude the series, so I bet they probably, hopefully, get past the interruption. So
I mean, one would hope so if it's a movie, but
yeah. Oh. Oh yeah. Also, this doesn't happen during Just the Kiss. Sometimes it'll happen when someone's about to confess their feelings, and like they're about to be like, and then someone will be like, "Hey guys, what's going on over here?" And then
oh yeah,
then the
oh yeah.
confession never happens.
Mhm. I've seen that happen.
I mean, there's also like fireworks will interrupt that.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple times.
Uh, this cliche, I hate it. Oh, please, please,
The next,
Yamete.
yeah.
Oh, the
Ah,
next
God.
one.
Yeah. You know, wait, do you want me to say it?
You can do it.
All right, sure. Is childhood friend crush. So, that's like you've got your MC and then the person that he or she likes, and then there would be like, I've always liked you since middle school. Like, will you be my like boyfriend or will you be my girlfriend? And then they're always like, "What? You have?" And then sometimes you'll have a flashback, and it's like the most obvious shit you've ever seen in your life. You're like, "Oh," like because you'll see the characters in middle school, and you're like, "Oh, hi!" Like, I
Send
I made you
I
I
got
made you these chocolates, senpai. Please
I got
rose
I
me.
filled out our marital certificate. All you have to do is sign right here.
It's like, I'm not 18 years. I gotta head out. Bye.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then they left their life until high school because high school anime. What a combo, am I right? Mm.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't have anything against that. It's like sometimes it's kind of sweet. Sometimes it's kind of like, oh hey, I've been like stalking you for the past like 6 years, but hey, we're in high school now, and that's okay. And the other person's like, yeah, that's fine, cool, very tough.
I only hate this cliche whenever I'm watching a love triangle anime and the girl I want to win the love triangle isn't the childhood friend,
Oh, because
which is
they
almost
they
every
always
time.
have the upper hand. They
Oh no,
always
no,
have the upper hand.
they usually always lose, but they still just stress. I get I while I do love triangle anime, it stresses me the hell out.
Well, because my take on love triangle anime is like the sort of like the underdog always wins. Like it's always like the person that like it's gonna happen because that character type, but like it's always the character type I feel like, and it's like kind of sneaks up on you, you know.
Yeah, I'm able to just tell who's
I
going
mean,
to
it's kind of
win,
obvious. I mean,
and
as soon as you're introduced to any of the female characters, you're like, all right, she's gonna be the one at the end, and it's like, wow, yeah, that's exactly right. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
childhood friend always lose, never ends up with the main character. I'm trying to think of an anime where the childhood friend ended up with the main character. Like
Uh,
let me see. I know there might have been. All right, if I use this show, this is cheating. If I say Amagami SS, that's cheating because Amagami SS is a show that the main dude ends up with a girl and then it resets and then you see what happens if he ended up with another girl, which is like fine. Like that has little arcs where he's with each girl, but it's not like he's cheating on them because it's like alternate universes. That's cheating if I say Amagami SS.
I mean, it is, but I mean, yeah.
So he dates. There's the the childhood friend ends up with the main character in Amagami SS. That's a cheat code right there. Uh
I really can't think of anything else right now.
um I'm just scrolling through real quick. I'm probably going to get nothing.
And you definitely have the upper hand on romance here.
Like I've seen most romance anime out there.
Mm, I wouldn't put it past you.
Um, I in this show, if they continued adapting the manga, I'm sure the childhood friend would have won. And when supernatural battles become, oh wait, no, never mind, that the childhood friend was someone else. Never mind. No, childhood friend wasn't winning that.
Mm.
um mm,
But I mean, any way you look at it,
yeah,
childhood friend crush. It's in a lot of romance shows. Do they ever win?
no.
No. Maybe something, an anime studio could look into, have like right out of left field, completely out of nowhere. It's like, oh, hey, what if, right, the childhood friend crush that, half the viewers are like, okay, they should have went out in this love triangle, actually wins out in that love triangle.
Well, if you're going to have a character win the love triangle, they can't be just some underdeveloped character. The reason why it's so obvious is because the childhood friend character gets barely any development. There are some shows it's not the case, but most of the
But,
time,
yeah.
the girl who ends up winning has the most character development.
Yeah. I mean, hey, just saying, maybe an anime will exist at some point where the childhood friend crush gets developed and then
Like there are shows where the childhood friend is developed. It's just there's a lot where
yeah,
they're
it's
not.
it's more common where they're not. All right. The next one, oh my lord. I It's hard to find a show without this cliche. If anybody can guess it, you receive absolutely no prize whatsoever.
Here's a hint. It's not like I like you or anything. Baka.
Back it is. Jesus.
Yeah, this
Jesus.
is tsundere. You know,
God.
that's just there's a lot. Like we shouldn't spend too long on this one because everyone knows what a tsundere is. The
Everyone
girl
knows
who likes the main character, but she's too embarrassed to admit it. She won't admit it. She'll just verbally abuse him and physically abuse him.
it.
But
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it's because she likes him.
It,
And
it
she's
it's
sometimes
not like I made you this lunch because I like you or anything. I just had an extra one this morning and I felt bad because I like literally almost killed you yesterday. Baka.
the YouTuber Giguk made a pretty good video about like it was memeing tsunderes, but I'm not gonna pull it up, but I remember it now. It's pretty funny. Like she starts like murdering the dude or something, from if I recall correctly, or it's something like extreme.
That sounds about right.
So yeah, tsundere. We can move
I
on to
mean,
that.
tsunderes aren't always bad, but like,
I I,
really
I don't have
though.
anything against them. Like I said, some of these cliches I don't really care. They're fine.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
mean, some tsunderes do like
oh yeah.
if they distract from like the focus of the show, just because they're like, I didn't mean to like kill you, but like, I'm sorry, but also you're an idiot. And it's like, wow, thank you, you hurt my feelings, and also spent like 10 minutes just like beating the shit out of me.
The
But okay, let's
the
get back to the
best
episode now.
the best tsundere I can think of is Rin Tosaka.
Fine.
And
And no, that's fair. That's fair.
if I had to think of another one, I guess Taiga is like the icon of the tsundere.
That is
I
the
don't
that is
personally
the
like her that
archetypal. That is the archetypal tsundere.
like
Like
she is when you Google when you know what, I'm gonna Google tsundere and I'm betting
Taiga
Tai.
would be one of the first
Oh
things to come.
no, the worst tsundere that I've ever seen, Luis from Familiar Zero. And on
That
Wikipedia, there's Rin Tosaka. Yes. Yes.
hmm.
All right, let's go to
So
images. First image. Rin Tosaka. Then it's blonde chick from Nisekoi. I do see Taiga, but I'd say the
I
worst
I
tsundere.
think Taiga would be. Taiga's definitely like the archetypal tsundere though.
Yeah, like,
But yeah,
but my favorite tsunderes are Rin Tosaka and Misaki from a certain scientific railgun slash magical index. Even though she's better in railgun, because railgun's better. Fight me. Yeah,
you
tsunderes.
know. All right. How about this though? Is Makise Kurisu tsundere?
Oh yeah, she is.
Because she
Right. She's
is.
definitely a good
So
one.
that's 100% my favorite tsundere.
Yeah, she's a
Not
good
the
soon. I
not the
forgot
most
about her.
not the most tsundere, but I just really like
She's a good
Makise
one.
Kurisu
She's a good one. Now, let me go on my
because
favorite
because
characters
that's
list.
subtle. She's a subtle tsundere, which I like.
Um, Mai Sakurajima. Oh baby.
Oh, that's a good one. That's
Oh,
the
I
damn good one.
from a show that's airing right now. Kaguya-sama, Love is War. She's like that's she's kind. That's kind of tough. I don't know if I. I mean, the point of the show is like the guy and the girl are in love with each other, but but admitting their love to each other, whoever admits it is like giving away their dominance. Like they want to be dominant because they're like from prestigious backgrounds. So
Would
it's a
both
sign of weakness.
tsunderes?
Kind of, but they're also deres, which is a
Uh,
dere where like they are obsessed with their lover or their
yeah.
crush. Oh, Senna from Haganai. Oh, I love her. Um,
uh,
um, yeah, that's
I
just a
mean,
few.
yeah. I mean, anybody listening to this podcast, you're gonna know what tsunderes are.
You probably are a tsundere.
I'm not, but
I'm not either, but
I
uh,
could be. But that's not my character style. All right. Um, Valentine's Day chocolate. You see, that's like a romance anime thing.
yeah, Valentine's Day might as well just be
Tsundere,
no,
like
no,
Tsundere
no,
Day.
no, no. It might as well just be like trying to think of like a really important event to compare it to. Might as well be like Christmas.
The second coming of Christ.
Yeah, it's it's a huge deal. A bigger deal. I mean, Valentine's Day in Japan is much bigger than it is here, but Christmas here is much bigger than it is in Japan.
Yeah.
So it's like trade. Um, but Valentine's Day and making chocolate for your waifus and your husbandos. It's
Husbando.
if you don't receive chocolate from your senpai, you might as well just commit seppuku.
If you don't receive chocolate from your senpai, you're probably a side character.
You're probably a childhood friend.
Oof. Big oof.
Well, but I'm pretty sure Valentine's Day the girls give the chocolate, and then there's like White Day or something where the guys give chocolate to the
I
girls
don't
who
know.
gave them chocolate. I I
I'm
I'm
not that well versed in.
I know there's something like that, but I'm not too knowledgeable.
I mean, there probably is, but I don't think either of us are all that knowledgeable about it.
And then the next cliche.
Oh my lord. Oh my god.
Itori goto nayo. Who doesn't love Aramanga Sensei?
A lot of people.
Who doesn't love Ore no Imoto ga Kawaii? Yeah,
Also, a
I don't
lot of
remember.
people.
So you're saying a show named when did my little sister get this cute? Not good.
Probably yes.
And you're saying a show about a light novel author who has an adopted 12-year-old little sister, or adopted 12-year-old sister, who draws the erotic pictures for his light novel, is not good.
You know, actually, now that you bring that show up, that is one of my top 5 favorite anime of all time. I mean, I just love the intense taboo tension of when you are trying desperately, desperately to smash the fuck out of your little sister. That is my favorite anime trope of all time. I only watch romance shows if the little sister of the MC is in the running.
Oh my god.
Citrus being a prime example.
Citrus, I do not consider one of these types of shows.
You know, I will consider that. I'm gonna say yes.
I
I'm gonna say that
I would
Citrus
I would
is.
even be controversial and say Kiss X Sis isn't that incestuous.
Yeah,
I
that's
I don't think step siblings, if they are teenagers when they become step siblings, counts.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's a whole other topic.
But let's not go into that rabbit hole
But
right
but
now.
but
I really oof.
this cliche is the little sister. Actually,
That's one of
it
the.
goes beyond that. There's always a little sister or cousin that wants it from the main character.
It's one of the most sus trips
And
though.
the only time it ever happens is like in what's the name of that show? It's like Hold on, I'm gonna get the English. Yosuga no Sona. Sky of Connection.
Oh my god.
It's that it happens in that show, but he fucks like every character, I think, from what I've
Yeah.
heard. But you get to see him smashing his sister.
Wait, is it a hentai?
No, you get to see like
Oh
it
my god.
happening, but with things covering certain parts.
Uh,
Um,
Still sus though. You know, not really my thing. Yeah, I mean,
and in Oreimo, um, he ends up with his little sister at the end. Uh,
Jesus.
I didn't finish Oreimo, but I know the ending. But I don't know the ending of Aramanga since how that ends. Um,
That's probably for the best.
I know. Oh, I don't want to spoil this. There's a show where the main dude ends up with his cousin. Um,
That sounds like a book that I'd have to read for English class.
yeah, well, it's. I mean, the anime that happens in it is really sketchy. This is just adding more fuel to that fire.
Jesus. I mean, yeah. Personally, you know, the like anything even like incest not my game, not my thing. So ergo, it's one of my I don't like it when that's the thing. It makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can't really think of any other shows where I know that there's like a really taboo show that deals with sibling romance in a more mature way, not the romantic comedy way. But I don't remember the name of it.
Are you talking about like straight hentai?
No, it's not. It's like a drama series.
I don't
Um,
think I'd watch whatever it is.
I mean,
I
I wouldn't
probably
watch it,
wouldn't
but it
watch it.
probably isn't as bad as like it's at least like it'll be more justifiable why things are happening.
Okay, that's fair. That's
Oh,
fair.
uh, yeah.
Still,
The next
yeah.
one is the student counts body the student council rules the school.
All right, this uh, sometimes this is really funny. Like in Kill a Kill, just the fact
That's
like
like the extreme.
that is the most extreme example I can possibly think of for this trope.
They
But
literally
it's
murder people.
it's hilarious though. It's so funny. Kill a Kill. I mean, some parts of it are like, just why is that a thing? But also like, it's just hilarious because like the school is like a country, and like the student body president is like the god of the country, and they're like, yeah, hey, I don't like you, so yeah, you're just gonna have to die now. And it's like, well, had a good run here at this school, but that's fine. Goodbye, family.
Yeah. Um. and From what I've heard, I mean, it's as expected. The student council president in real Japanese schools is nowhere near as as powerful, but
I think Asobi Asobase is like probably a pretty
yeah,
solid
that
example of
that
what
that
student council
probably
life is actually like.
yeah. I found the show that I was talking about that deals with sibling love and probably what I expect to be a more mature way is called Koi Kaze or Love Win. And the genres are drama, psychological, romance, seinen, and slice of life. So you can just tell it's not going to be. It'll at least not make the fact that the incest is they're not going to turn into a okay thing. They're going to go why it's the conflict behind it. But I'm not going to watch it still.
Yeah, I'm also not gonna watch that.
Yeah. So student council ruling the school.
I think
Uh
it's a funny trope if you do it well. Just like in a show like Kill a Kill or something similar to it, where it's just like really dramatic and like it's so over the top that like everybody knows it's not real whatsoever. It's like like it's just I think it's funny when the student council is just ridiculously over the top and like whatever they say like becomes law, and like if anybody breaks that law then like they like something happens to them, and I think it's funny because it's just so unrealistic.
yeah. So the next one, this is more of a cliche is sometimes used to sell Blu-rays, um, and
That's
sometimes
annoying.
used to get fan service, but still be able to be aired on TV, and that's the censorship,
Mm.
the convenient censorship. Like
Yeah, like guy like is like there's like a random fire, all of the guy's clothes burns, and there's just like a random like post in the ground that's just like conveniently covering up his lower half.
there's a
Um,
funny picture from Neon Genesis Evangelion that I'm gonna
oh,
find that remind.
and then one thing that you see in like almost every anime at some point
I didn't.
is like a naked, like a girl's naked and her 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 titties are conveniently covered by her hair.
Oh yeah.
Like it just happens to be long enough. It's like, oh yes, you cannot see my nipples anymore. This isn't hentai. This is just
This is Christian.
this is good Christian material.
Look at this GIF I've just.
that is exemplary of yeah. That's
The GIF I sent him. So Shinji like jumped from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Shinji
and there
got out of the shower,
is
and Misato, like there's a her beer can is covering where his dick, so you can't see it because of like the camera angle. And then she grabs it, and there's like some can is still covering. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's like
It's like a
another
nice
random
fake
soda
out.
can. It's so convenient. It's very exemplary of the trope.
Wait a minute, is this real? Hold up. This
Is what?
this if this is real, this has to be from the Neon Genesis. Because I
Whoa!
would have remembered that.
I would assume you would. Yo. Huh.
Wow.
Whoa.
Straws.
Mm. I've never disliked straws more.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything.
Well, maybe I do. I don't know. I haven't seen Evangelion yet.
No, no, I was about. No, I'm just stop.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, censorship. You see it a lot. If in a comedy of any kind, it's probably pretty funny. You know, guys schlong is just conveniently not shown by something that's like just randomly there and is like, even if things move, there's just somehow like another guy, somebody's hand, a can, a post, an animal of some kind. And I've seen like a cat randomly walk past,
In
or like
it,
immediately as you see, like as soon as you see like somebody like strip, the angle like switches, so it's like you know what's going on, but like it's just barely hidden.
and then there's shows like Eden of the East where they just have black bars.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that. So yeah,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
sometimes censorship is used like they're like, oh, if you buy the Blu-ray, we're gonna remove this fog.
In the picture where in like the meme where we got all of them from, the censorship picture is exactly the gif you sent of a convenient accidental censorship. It is exactly the gif that you sent.
Yeah, I mean, all I googled was convenient censorship Neon Genesis, and there it was.
Oh
There's
my
a lot of
lord.
convenient censorship in the show, but yeah. So moving on, we're probably not gonna do all of them that I
Oh
have
yeah,
listed.
yeah.
So,
Because
but this
we're running kind of
cliche,
long.
this is a every high school cliche, anime cliche, and that is the main character sitting by the window.
I mean, all right. Let's think of shows right off the top of one's head. Let's see. Chihaya Furu,
Fun
Death Note,
ad.
Clan Head, um, uh,
Asobi Asobase.
Gridman, um, Sao,
Um,
um,
God, I'm trying to think.
uh,
Because you're taking
Kona,
all of mine.
Konosuba, um,
What?
yeah. No, there's some parts where whatever the main character's name, I can't remember anybody's name in anything.
Kazuta.
Yeah, yeah, he's just like chilling out in like the guild hall thing, and Aqua just like runs up to him, and
Oh
he's
my
just like
God,
sitting by the window.
Canon. School Rumble, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, no, no, there's some
Uh,
with like any main character in School Rumble is like sitting in by a window. Mostly it's Harma or Tenma, but also you see Yakumo and uh the guy that Tenma Kurasuma just like chilling up by the window. It's like,
I
dang,
see.
very cool.
Um, try-
Oh, in movies like I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, probably
yep,
Your Name, um,
yep,
um, uh, uh, what's that other one? Girl Who Lived Through Time.
yep.
Um,
Silent Voice,
I can't
definitely.
I can't vouch for Silent Voice, but I
Oh, it's there.
probably, yeah. I mean, anything that anything that involves people that are like around high school age, MC is going to be sitting just straight chilling by a window, like looking out of it, probably head on his hand or hands, or just like slouch back, maybe head
Um,
on the desk. Either way, he's gonna be looking out. He or
Yeah.
she gonna be looking out a window.
Wolf Girl and Black Prince. King's Game, right? I feel like he was. The little
Yeah,
bit
no,
that was in the
definitely.
classroom.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Uh,
In some parts of Spice and Wolf, like Kraft is just like
huh?
looking out the window. Like when they're at an inn,
So so
Kraft
now
is just
so
like,
now so now you're saying anytime anyone looks out a window, that's a cliche.
no, all right, that's kind of a stretch.
Bunny
That's
Girl
I take that back.
Senpai. Bunny Girl
Oh,
Senpai.
definitely,
Doesn't
definitely.
Sakata? Yeah, I think Sakata.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. High key, like all the time. He's like, oh man, I wish
Oh,
Mai would just like accept me as a human being.
want to know an anime where the main character does not sit by the window?
School days.
School Days.
That's because he's too busy doing other things
Like
with
studying the
lore.
Bible. Oh, A Place Further Than the Universe does not. She sits on
Oh,
the opposite side of the room.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That yeah, you are right.
Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Kyon sits like in the middle of the room.
That's
But
uncommon.
then I'm also remembering a scene. I'm remembering a scene in the movie where he's like has a window seat, but I'm pretty sure he sits like in the middle of the room.
I mean, in
Um.
any almost any high school anime
Oh
is gonna
yes.
have character just straight chilling by a window.
Skilled teaser Takagi-san. A certain magical index. Um.
Yeah, I'm gonna
God.
whip this out again. Disastrous Life of Psyche K. There's some window scenes.
You know,
Um,
Toradora does not.
God, that has everything else about that is a trope, though.
Your Lie in April does not. Um, I'm pretty sure Suki Gakire does, but I can't. It's been 2 years since I watched that.
Oh wait, so are we looking for shows that don't have that? Hold
I'm just trying to remember.
what about Angel Beats? Question mark.
I can't remember. Um, I can't
Wait,
remember if my teen romantic comedy is wrong does or not.
hmm. Um,
Oh, it doesn't. Oregairu does not.
hmm.
It's like next to the wall. Something. I remember. How I remember? I don't know.
Yo, does Kaijo have any window scenes? I don't think
You
so.
know, I think she does because I'm
Oh,
remembering the
she
scene in the
probably does. She
classroom
probably does.
where
She
the
probably
teacher I'm
does.
trying to or I remember a scene where the teacher uh takes the chalk and then yeah, cuz the main character's looking out the window and then the
Oh, you're
teacher
right.
takes the
Oh,
chalk and
you're
then
right. You got me. You got
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Damn.
I can't I can't, I'm impressed that I remembered that.
Yeah, I'm
Ah,
also impressed that you remember that.
so
Oof. God.
let's see. I'm
Any way you look at it, any anime that takes place in a school, you're probably gonna have at least the likelihood that you're gonna have the main character or like a main character sitting by a window looking out of it, probably thinking about another person at school or just like some random shit is very high.
so I think the last one that we're going to like go in depth about is the school roof. I'll read
Gee,
through the rest of them after, but school roof,
yeah.
which from what I've heard is always locked in a real Japanese school.
No, I mean it's probably locked in American schools that like
Well,
have
yeah,
roofs.
but they don't care.
Like
They
no
don't
American
base
schools have
they don't base their anime doesn't base their high schools off of American school.
yeah. Yo, all right. Let's think of things that have people on the school roof. Well, or just does it have to be the school roof? It can just be like any roof that's like, but like it's really apparent that like they're on a roof.
Let's like keep it school roof.
Damn, because I was gonna whip out Steins Gate because there's some deep ass scenes that happen on roofs, but I'll respect that. There's
I'm
still plenty of shows.
I'm gonna go through my list and list every one that I remember there being a scene with the roof on the school roof.
Mm-hmm.
March Comes In Like a Lion. That I remember.
Angel
That I
Beats.
remember. Was Angel? I don't remember,
Yeah, no,
but I'm
there's
sure there
definitely
was.
Angel Beats.
Amagami SS. Um, Another. I'm
Citrus question mark?
Citrus took place like in the winter, so I don't remember
Yeah,
Citrus having
probably
one.
not. Probably not.
I don't remember if Blue Spring Ride did or not, but it wouldn't surprise me. Don't remember if Bigata HK did or not. Asobi Asobase doesn't, which is a surprise.
That's true.
I wonder if any of the Monogatari does or not. Aganai does.
Mm. School Days does for
Does
sure.
School Days? I don't remember.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
yeah.
I'm joking.
That's like a high. Oh wait, okay.
I'm joking.
I was about to say. That's. I don't know about that one, bro. Your memory has gone to if that is the case.
Clannad does. Um, let's see. Pretty sure Defrag does. Data Live does.
Mm,
Does Death Note?
I feel like it does.
Death Note has roofs, but I don't know about school roof.
I feel like there is a school roof, like a school roof scene. It's like I was looking through my mail, and it's like I feel like there is.
F A Tale of Memories and Melodies does. Fate Stay Night does.
Or on Host Club.
Oh, definitely. I haven't seen it, but
I don't know if they go on the roof though. It definitely has like every other trip that we've talked about, but like I don't know if it has school roof.
I feel like Flip Flappers they were at one point, but I don't quite remember. GJ Club maybe. Oh,
Disastrous
School
Life of
Live.
Psyche for me does.
School Live definitely does.
Does School Rumble?
Yes, because I remember uh him shaving his beard
Oh yeah. You're right.
on the roof. That's the only thing I remember on the roof.
Um,
Anasaku Iroha, I think does.
Bunny Girl has
Bunny Girl Senpai.
Yeah, no, there's a roof scene in Bunny Girl.
Can't remember.
There is. I promise.
EBK Euphonium. I'm not quite sure. There's outdoor scenes. There's like outdoor bridge scenes. I don't. High School DD probably. High School of the Dead, yes. Like the first episodes on the roof. Garashi, I don't remember.
Oh wait, what is that? There's one show that has like a really weird scene on the roof, and it's a super important scene. I can't remember what it is.
Are you thinking about the scene in Clannad?
No, it's not Clannad. God, there's definitely one. It's like a super important scene on the roof, and it's like time is passing a lot. I think, and like I think there's like a big color change or something.
Big.
I don't know. I can't remember it.
I'm
In one of the Pokemon movies, there's one. It's kind of whack, but like Ash is like in like actual Earth, and there's like not Pokemon, and he's like chilling on the school roof, and he's like, "Man, life is a piece of shit," you know. And he's like, "Oh wait, but I'm from Pokemon."
Yeah, I think we should stop listing all these because we've got a lot, and
Oh yeah,
I'm only in the J's of my list.
Jeez, yeah.
So
I can definitely find more, but
I'm just gonna read through the rest of the cliches we have listed. Maybe we'll like do this again.
Fuck. All right, one of the ones I was thinking was a hentai, but let's not go into that right now.
So there's Sakura, like the cherry tree leaves. It's not a bad cliche. It's just something that it's a reoccurring thing. The test.
I honestly kind of like it.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. I don't think it's bad. It's just
especially for romance. It adds a lot to romance.
um Wick Donalds or 811 or something like that, fake
Like
brands that are
just,
obviously real
just
brands but
like
change.
just barely skirting the copyright laws. Like one letter or number or whatever.
This one cliche I think's hilarious. It's the teacher who's always there's always a teacher who complains about being single.
Yeah, that's definitely funny. And like the rich character who fucks up everything for the main
Yeah,
character. School Rumble's a good example of that.
yeah. I
Uh,
there's a lot, or there
there's
it's
a lot.
not as common, but it's
You still
definitely
see it a
yeah.
fair. You still see it a fair bit.
Let's see. There's also like whether it's during the summer vacation arc or the class trip arc, there's usually a test of courage.
Test of courage. Oof.
Then there's a lot of shows have an onsen episode where they go to a bathhouse
Mm.
and allows for good fan service opportunities and comedy and walking in on girls changing because we love seeing that. That's so funny. We laugh every time.
Mm.
There's always a transfer student, whether it's the main character, whether it's the main character's love interest at the beginning of the show, whether it's a new character being introduced in the middle of the show. It's usually a transfer student.
Somebody's always transferring.
Making your crush a lunch. We mentioned that when we were talking about tsundere, but that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Accidental groping. That it's one of the most reoccurring things in high school comedy romance anime. Success on the final try. This is something that correlates to like action more. Like they were like, this is the last opportunity I'm giving you, and that means that they're going to succeed that time.
MC Coon, I will end you now. Our fight up until this point has been a series of meaningless blows. And then just whips out the fattest, like, random success out of fucking nowhere. And then just wins the day, wins the tournament arc, which, tournament arc.
Tournament arc,
That's
I have
another
listed
trope.
here. I have it listed
That's
here.
another trope.
I also have getting colds. That happens a lot.
Oh, true.
You know,
Let's not forget Jiggle Physics, another big
Jiggle
one.
physics. Yep, I didn't write that down, but that was on the picture that I used as reference.
I have it. I have that picture pulled up for ones that you don't mention.
Then there's girl finding the porno mag of what either the main character or it's usually the main character. And then I am a first year in high school. It's the last one I wrote down.
Some other ones are like somebody forgets an umbrella. That's one.
Yeah, that's and so they share it and then their shoulders bump in it. Ah!
Some more good ones are like it's kind of a tsundere thing is like the like random character challenges like
I don't see that as much. When I saw that cliche, I was like, I don't know about that one.
I mean, they back out of
like,
it, but
like that's in in the Raildex series.
Yeah.
But
flip phones, that's a big thing.
It's starting to not become a big thing. They're starting to adapt.
But still, if you watch any anime
before 2016.
Yeah, no, like any anime for the past 3 years, most people are gonna have smartphones. Unless it's like, then if they have a flip phone, it's kind of a big deal. It's like, oh, hey, I still have a flip phone, and everybody's like, ha, you're a piece of shit. Just like, go kill yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are just a few. I have a feeling that we probably could come up with more and have like revisit this topic later on.
Maybe with Colin.
Maybe with him.
If he ever joins the podcast again, which we'll see.
I mean, he is scheduled to come on on episode 6.
Is that the time I'm not going to be there?
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why. I mean,
So,
you and Marie Coon could have a podcast to yourself, I guess.
yeah.
Which honestly, might be better than if it was with Colin.
No, let's not roast him too
All right,
much.
okay,
He's
that was
seen more anime than you,
that's fair. That
but
was
not
uncalled
me.
for.
But not me.
That's fair.
Ah. So,
That is true.
before we hop on into our discussion of the anime Asobi Asobase, I've got a new segment for the podcast. It's not that long. I'm going to every episode recommend a show that is not as popular as a lot of shows. Like usually, whenever people are like, "Oh, recommend me an anime," people are like, "All right, watch My Hero Academia." Um, these are more shows that you probably you might not have heard of. Some of them you probably have, but who knows? I've only this is the first time I'm doing it, so who knows? So the show I'm recommending is Honey and Clover, which is an anime about a group of college students who go to an art school in Tokyo. Like the main dudes live in like the same cheap apartment building. Uh, and the girls like they hang out, and so it's a nice coming of age anime. There's a lot of drama. There's a love triangle. There is a girl chasing after a dude who has feelings for another girl. But this show has a lot of themes of love and failed love and moving on and finding yourself and finding purpose in like it's a good show to watch if you're about to move like since I'm about to graduate high school, I thought it was a good show to watch. But if you're graduating from college, it might also be a good show to watch. It's like at one point, one of the main characters like goes on a bike trip because he has no idea what his purpose in life is. So like, you know what? Let's just go bike. Let's see how far I can ride my bike. And it's I loved the show. I really did. It was made by the same person who made March Comes In Like a Lion and Eden of the East. Um, like the character designs are similar. Uh, it shares the story. Its story is more similar to March Comes In Like a Lion than Eden of the East. But like I think it is a really good slice of life drama, and my only pro I when it comes to the ending, I think the ending is really good, but personally I didn't wasn't happy with it, but I think it was handled very well.
Was it
So,
handled better than the end of School Days though?
well, I think School Days is one of the best endings ever.
I mean,
So,
it is. It's definitely one of the most unique endings. You got to give it that.
yeah. But this anime, you th- you think it'll turn out like a standard cliche anime, which is what I thought, and it doesn't. It's more realistic, and that's what makes it so good. There were parts where I was like, "Holy!" I've never clicked a next the button on my remote to skip to the next episode so fast in my life during at one point in the second season. Um, there's two seasons. There's the first season has 24 episodes. The second season has 12. Um, it's from I think 2005 maybe. Hold on, let me. Oh, I'll get a check on that. Um, Honey and Clover. it is the first season is from 2000 spring 2005, and the second season's from summer 2006. So it looks like they took like a 6 month break in between each season, but that
That's
doesn't
pretty
matter.
common. That's pretty common though.
Yeah, that doesn't matter much now. But
Yeah.
it's
Seeing
it's
as 13 years ago,
it's a
or
show
more
that
than 10 at least.
it's a show that I loved, even if I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. And even though after not liking the ending so much, I still have it. It is in my top 10 favorite anime now. So that's a show I would recommend watching that you probably haven't heard of, since it isn't named My Hero Academia and came out more than 2 years ago. So, yes. Now it's time to just jump right into our discussion of the anime Asobi Asobase from the summer 2018 season, made
An
by
hour later.
made by Studio Lerche, who has also made shows like Assassination Classroom, Kuzu no Honkai, also known as Scum's Wish, Kino's Journey reboot, Monster Musume, School Live, and Classroom of the Elite. They've also done a lot more, but those are like the ones that stood out to me. The director is Seiji Kishi, which whenever I looked at the things he did, I was shocked at all he's directed so many things. And like the things I listed some of his, like, the really notable things he worked on, and some of the comedies that he worked on, so that like you can see resemblance. So he worked on Angel Beats, Assassination Classroom, uh this show that nobody's seen called Humanity Has Declined, Tsuki ga Kire. I forgot about that one. Oh my god. Um this over the top comedy called My Bride is a Mermaid, the Persona 4 anime, and just a lot more. So yeah, that's just a few of the things he directed. And if you want to watch this show, you can watch it on Crunchyroll, and since it's on Crunchyroll, you can also watch it on Verve, which I had to watch on Verve because my Crunchyroll app on my PS4 was being really dumb, and like it would stutter and keep changing the video quality, and I got annoyed. But Verve wasn't having that problem, so
And unlike me, where I was able to just on my laptop, Crunchyroll app worked just fine.
yeah. So where are we gonna begin with discussing this show?
Why don't we just jump right in and
Let's just start with when you first press play on episode 1. You are greeted.
That's a great place to start.
You are greeted with a nice little intro.
Yeah,
Intro. It's a nice, cute. Like, I played it.
It's a solid intro
at the beginning of the episode before starting.
Solid intro. It's a solid intro.
You can really get a good sense of the show. You can tell, like, it's just these 3 girls in school, whether it's high school or middle school. It's middle school in this show. They're just, from what we can tell from the intro, it seems like it'll be a cute coming of age anime about friendship, maybe a little loss, maybe potential romance. That's, there's a part in the intro where one of the characters is crying for who knows why. These are questions that the intro brings up. And so when watching this as it aired, which is what I did, this wasn't a show that stood out to me whenever, like, before the season started. I was like, has girls in it, might as well watch it. So I put it on and see this intro. I'm like, all right, this is probably a show I'll watch a couple episodes of and forget. And then the show begins. And hold on, before we start, I'll just read the synopsis. During recess, Olivia, A foreign transfer student who doesn't know English plays a game of Look the Other Way with Hanako, Honda, a loud-mouthed airhead. Their rowdy behavior spurs the ire of Kasumi Nomura, a deadpan loner constantly teased by her older sister for her tendency to lose games. Not willing to compete, Kasumi declines Olivia's offer to join the fun, but eventually gets involved anyway and dispenses her own brand of mischief. Soon, a strange friendship blossoms between the peculiar trio, and they decide to form the Pastime Club, where they are free to resume their daily hijinks. Whether it be failing to learn English, trying desperately to become popular, or getting caught by teachers at the wrong time, school life will never be boring when the girls of Asobi Asobase are up to their hilarious antics.
Mm.
Thank you, Mallory Wright. Very cool. Shout outs to Mallory Wright. They take anime on Mal and that get like terrible synopses from like Anime News Network and rewrite them to get people who've actually seen the show to rewrite them. I was part of them, but I left because I was too lazy. But yeah, so I think that show that accurately depicts the show. It seems
It
like a nice,
does.
cute, club anime where these girls are just having fun, getting caught at the wrong time.
Mm. Oh, something that I think is important to understanding this show is that the way that it's written is that the Pastimers Club is also can also be read as the Pleasure
The
Seekers
Pleasure
Club.
Seekers Club. Well, I mean, a pastime is a like a little game that you play to like get pleasure. Like, why do you play? Why do you watch anime? Because you want to be pleasured. It's just a weird way of saying it. Like, entertainment is seeking pleasure. So, can be interpreted as the Pleasure Seeker Club.
So, uh pleasure seeking of course has several meanings. And of course, being a comedy show, they have a joke that explores it all.
But
So,
I'd say parts of the beginning of the show where you can tell something is off. During that game they were talking about of Look the Other Way, it's like, what was it? You have to oh yeah, you have to like dodge before the person slaps you or something. I don't know. But whenever they go up to this well, whenever the first girl gets slapped, the facial expression is ridiculous. It's
yeah.
like it's absurd. And then whenever she goes to play with that loner girl that the synopsis mentioned, instead of slapping her face, she just gives her a full-on flap right to her boobs.
Jesus, I forgot about that, but yeah, no, they just go right off the bat with that shit.
Yeah, this show is disguised as a cute little innocent show, but is an over-the-top, ridiculous, absurd comedy. There's so many dirty jokes, so many ridiculous facial expressions, so many disgusting. It's but it's so hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, so the way that the show is split up is that like if you're watching it on Crunchyroll, like it's a 12 episode show, but each episode has like four smaller like parts of it. Like there's four small episodes in each episode. Some of them, some of them I was just outright like, "Yo, what the fuck is this episode?" And like, because some of them are real sus. Because it's middle schoolers talking about like sex ed. I think that's a little sus.
Yeah,
But
but they don't know what it is.
yeah, but like it seems sus, but then you just like think about it and it's like, oh wait, that's kind of funny. So I will say that I laughed at least once during every like mini episode. Like there was at least one point in every episode that made me laugh. So that's laughing at least 4 times, like pretty solidly
Each episode,
every episode.
three or four
Like
little stories per
hearty
episode.
chuckles. Now there was a hearty chuckle accompanying pretty much every single one. So as a comedy, I it was funny. I found a lot of enjoyment from. I laughed a lot, and it was there's some parts that. So okay, so like, do you want to go to like initial impressions now, or do you want to like talk about other stuff more?
Let's go initial impressions. What'd you think?
All right,
Like,
so I you know watching the intro first off, I was like, okay, it's like middle school, cute middle school girl comedy, haha, like they'll have like some like cute, funny stuff, maybe they'll have like a couple of episodes where it's like, oh, like, and then they'll have like a mildly like adult joke that like a teacher mentions or something, and then the girls like talk about it like in like a totally misunderstood way. It's just like ridiculous. Um, like how they explain shogi in the show.
oh my
Oh my
god.
god.
Oh my
uh,
god.
that's a hilarious running joke that they have.
I'm gonna talk about Maida at some point.
Oh, definitely. You definitely have to. So I was, watching the intro. It's like, it's, your typical like middle school girl comedy type thing. Um, and then during the first episode, I was like on Discord with Theo, and I was like, "Yo, I am like legitimately terrified of this show." It's like it was so not what I was expecting. It's like I'd been coming on shows that were like, animated in traditional anime style, shall we say. But then just out of nowhere, this shit's just like all of a sudden it's not regular anime. Like the intro is like, okay, it's gonna be a regular anime. but then but then all of a sudden it's not. Still very funny after you get used to the first episode. Like, I mean, even looking back on it, episode 1 was funny. I was taken aback by the first 2 episodes, but I got over it. Looking back on it, they were very funny. I still laughed, but I was like, okay, some of these faces are kind of scary. I don't know what's up with that, but I mean, it'll sort itself out, and it sorts itself out. You know, it's a good show. I liked it. I laughed. And what else can you want from a comedy anime than to laugh?
I think what makes this show so funny and so good is just the main trio, like how they react to things in the situations they get put in.
Oh my god,
I
Honda. I think is probably the funniest character.
I think I'm trying to think of my
She's
favorite part of the show. There are a few.
There's so many parts that could be favorite part.
My favorite part, one of the parts that comes to mind is when they go to the cafe. And so whenever they go to a cafe, Hanako, also known as Honda, she wears like this costume that she thinks
Oh my god,
she thinks is fashionable, but it's really weird. Like she has a hat that has horns on it. And then they're studying at this cafe, the group of friends, and then somehow I don't remember how, but like the pencil, one of the girls' pencils ends up in Hanako's horn, and so she like takes it out and throws it behind her or something like that.
Well, no. So what's the like the loner girl's name?
Kasumi.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Kasumi. So Kasumi is like spinning her pen on her hand, like you can do if you're
Oh
a cool
yeah.
kid in middle school. And then like she accidentally does it too hard and ends up in Honda's like weird headdress thing. And then Honda's like, "Oh, you gotta show me how to do that. Show me how to do that." And she's like, I mean,
Oh
Kasumi's
yeah, I
like,
remember.
"Oh yeah, it's not that hard." And then she's like teaching her how to do it. And then she does it, and it flies off and hits this girl behind her.
No, all right. So she's trying to spin the pen, Hanako is, and it flings off her finger into the coffee of the girl
That's
sitting behind
yeah.
her. The coffee splashes, hits the girl's in hits the girl whose coffee that was in hand, causing her to drop her cigarette, which lands on a
It,
curtain,
yeah, and then
which
it sets
ignites
the
the
whole
whole
cafe.
cafe.
Oh my,
Like
yeah, I
that
forgot about that.
series of actions, like I forgot about that also. It's hysterical.
It's really funny because then afterwards everybody's just like standing outside the cafe, and then Honda's like, I've decided maybe that style wasn't the best. And it's just, like it's so ridiculous because like the police and everybody's like, it was that girl's fault. It was that girl's fault, and everyone's like,
She
what?
was wearing demon horns.
It was that scene was great, and then got the Shogi Club episode. Oh my, that
Oh.
whole episode that was so great because all right, okay, so this is wait, is it fine if I like
Yeah, it's
okay, I'm just gonna
we're not
say
spoiling
spoiler.
everything.
All right, I'm just gonna say spoiler alert because I thought this is worth talking about. Like watching it for yourself, like I cannot say with words like this episode. It's great.
There's no coherent there's no overarching plot line that can be spoiled. The only thing that's spoiled is like individual stories. There are like
Yeah,
50 stories in this show.
yeah. But anyways, so it's just like it's going off of a bunch of just really funny tropes. So it's like Honda has this butler that just randomly shows up out of nowhere. Just all the time, so frequently. His name is what?
His
Maida?
name is Maeda, and
Maida.
he has like a buzz cut and a beard. His character design is just it's creepy. His character, he only has 15 favorites on Mal, and he deserves more. But
He's
he's
such
the
a wild
butler
actor.
for Hanako's family,
Yeah,
and
funny that you mentioned Butler there. So, oh my God, one of the running jokes in the show is that so uh Maeda had to like raise Honda because her parents I don't know what they're doing. Like her parents aren't important though. They don't really do anything. Um, he was like raising her and teaching her all this stuff. And then one day, it's like a flashback scene, and Honda is like coming home, and she's like, "What's shogi?" And then Maida's like, "Alas, I would tell you, I would never deceive a child, but I don't know the rules of shogi." And
I don't
fucking,
ever want to tell her the words
and
I
I don't
don't know, but I don't know how to play shogi. Or oh,
shogi,
I know what shogi
and
is, but if I tell
yeah,
her I know what shogi is, she's gonna
she'll
ask me how
ask
to
me
play.
play. And but alas, I don't know the rules of shogi. So it's like it cuts like to after because that's just like all in his head, and then he's like, "You see, shogi is a laser that comes out of a man's butt." It's like it's so wild because like all these girls are in middle school, so like they have no idea what the fuck is going on with anything.
And
And then
the reason why, so Maeda, well, after he graduated from college, or no, he failed out of college.
yeah.
He's
Oh
approached.
no, he was still in college when this happened.
Well, yeah, he was like he failed a test, and
Yeah, yeah,
he was approached by some strange
yeah.
men and got his butt. He was probed, and so anytime he farted or shat or whatever, a laser beam would fire out of his ass, which made it
And
so he couldn't get any jobs because anytime he went to
he
the
destroyed
bathroom.
the toilet. I forgot about that specific detail, but
But
yeah.
then Hanako's grandfather approaches him as he's like depressed because he can't get a job and he keeps failing out of college and his ass is getting all torn up from the laser. And he hires him as a butler, and then they make it so
I'll
that
I'll
anytime,
teach you I'll teach you how to use your butt.
so now
So random.
he'll only fire the laser when he has diarrhea.
Oh no, 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 he can fire it off at will at this point. except like he explains like the only
Yeah.
time I can't control it is when I have like massive diarrhea, and then all the girls are like, oh no, we didn't want to know that, and it's like making all sorts of weird faces that are just ridiculous, over the top. But I mean, so back to the shogi episode. So the Pastimers Club, they're just straight chilling in this club room, but they don't have but because there are only 3 people, it's not an official club. So then like these 5 girls are like, okay, we're gonna start the shogi club at this school, and then of course they have a challenge for it, for because why not just have a random challenge episode, and then it's so over the
They
top,
they in
the extent to which
they
the
challenge the they challenge the pastime club to a pastime, and if whoever wins gets the classroom to be their club room, since there's no other club or classrooms open. And so the game that they decide to play is like to see who can fling their shoe the farthest. And one of the girls in the pastime club, I won't go through the whole details, but like Olivia's goes like she uses the swings like she's playing on the swing and then uses the momentum from the swing to fling her shoe farther. But then the president of the shogi club decides to she takes it to a whole other level. She takes a bicycle, goes to the top of the hill that's like near where they're playing, that's like behind where they're playing the game, rides the bike down. Halfway through down the hill, she jumps off the bike and like does a kick to fling her shoe. It goes a kilometer, which just annihilates the Pastimers Club. But then she completely wipes out, like tumbling down, and then she's carried. She's like, "Oh, I respect you, Pastimer Club. You guys, these games, you put your life on the line with these
no, no, no,
games."
no, no, she was criticizing him because she was like, you have to give everything you have for every game you play.
Oh,
No, because remember like there's like there's like another random episode where there's just like a bunch of hostility between the shogi club,
yeah, the battle,
because
the Fortnite episode.
yeah, that one.
Um,
No,
but
so it's like if you're not willing to put everything on the line for, or so this is like when she's at the top of the hill. Everybody's like, "Wait, no, what are you doing? Like, you could get seriously injured by that." And she's like, "You need to be willing to risk your like everything, including your life, for a game that you play." And then she like goes down the hill and breaks every bone in her body.
she
Like
gets so many compound fractures, and even though they lost, or the Pastimer Club lost, they still get the club room because the president of the Shogi Club has to be homeschooled because of her injuries, so they just hold the meetings at her house.
it's like there's so much unnecessary action and tension. It's hilarious though. That's one of my favorite episodes because it's so extra, but it's just great because the faces, the still shots of like the main 3 girls, they're so random, they're so ugly, but they're so funny.
There,
It's great. I love it. It's a great show. I gave it an 8. It's a great show.
the show has there's so much charm to this show. There's so many little things that make the show just amazing. Like in the last episode, there's this baby of a friend of the club supervisor who she brings in her friend's baby.
Oh my god, that
And
what
the
a watch
baby acts like he's a Yakuza member. Like he starts fondling the girl's breast. He starts treating his pacifier like a cigarette. Like what?
Okay, that's another episode that's probably my favorite. So like they're passing the baby around, and like one of the middle schoolers, of course, has like an unnecessarily large chest. And
Yeah.
then he's like the baby's like fondling him. It's like, oh yeah.
And then he
All the other
goes to
girls are like,
Hana
wait. Did the baby just speak? And they're like, no, we've got to be imagining it. And then like she passes it to
to
one of the
Hanako
girls. Yeah.
who's completely flat. and he falls and he's like flat. And then they pass her to the foreign student Olivia, who her gimmick is she has bad BO, and then he sniffs her and is like spicy.
Spice. And they're like, the baby definitely speaking. And then it's like, oh hey, maybe he just wants like something to do. And then so like they bring in his pacifier, and he's like sucking it normally for a second, and then he like grabs it with 2 fingers and pulls it out of his mouth. And then Honda immediately just like, he's a mafia don.
He takes it, he treats it like he's taking a rip out of it. Like he goes like, and you see his cheeks like go in, like he's sucking on it, and he's like and then he blows smoke out.
It is like the most malicious, like,
it's just
Yakuza based like cigarette smoking. Like it's great because like it has like the super intense face, but it's like he's a baby. And it's so unnecessary, but it's great.
This show is just nonstop, over the top comedy that is it's so original. Like,
Yeah,
so
I mean, I was laughing at least once every like 5 minutes, and like solid laughs, and like I just chuckle at random things, but like you will be able to find some quality laughs if you enjoy comedy.
yeah, this is just like the summer season. I didn't think had that many good shows, but this show is definitely the best show from the summer season, in my opinion. So funny, so many like we mentioned a lot of different stories, but there's so many more.
Yeah,
And
I mean there are like, I think there's like 42 of these episodes. We mentioned 3, like, and each episode has its own little like gimmick thing to it. I mean, like, we mentioned some of the better ones, but there are other ones that we did not mention that are just as good.
like
Like
there's a girl with hemorrhoids. There's the Pokemon Go spin-off or knockoff.
uh,
Um,
yeah, there's so many just like random little episodes that just have like just random, like, even if it's just like a single still shot and like a character going like Nani. It's the way they set it up. It's so unexpected. It's so unnecessary. It's so funny.
and then there's Olivia's older brother.
Oh my god, I forgot about him. Oh my
He's
god.
so awesome. He's so creepy, but he's hilarious.
All right, just to quickly sum up his character. So, you know how like grown men are into lollies, right? So he's one of those fuckers.
He's a lolicon. He's like
He's a
like
lolicon.
like you
He's
think
a grown ass man.
like Olivia is a foreigner, or her parents are from America, so she has blonde hair, blue eyes, and whenever the characters are about to meet him, they're like, "Oh, he's probably hot." But then you see him, and he's this fat dude with long hair, with all these with all his waifus like pin
stash, lolly pins, like all
bandana.
Over him. He has like really weird hippie glasses too.
And then he goes
so sus.
And then he asks like the girls for their line IDs. So then he starts texting one of them.
And he's so like, he acts so suave online. He's like, "Oh, hello, my lady. I was so honored to meet you earlier today, and I was wondering if we could perhaps converse farther about your likes, dislikes, and general interests." And like, he makes it like, that's like a terrible misquote, but like he sounds like so smooth. He's like the milady kind of guys in a fedora, but he's a lolicon who's just like randomly shows up in a middle school.
Like, he'll say things like, raw middle school girls.
That's his tagline, is like, "Ugh, raw middle school girls, so exciting," and he's like rubbing his thighs. He is so fucking creepy, but he's hilarious.
His eyes.
You know that nothing is gonna happen, but his character is just great. So unnecessary. Like, like the whole show, but just randomly just running up. It's hilarious. He's hilarious. The whole show is hilarious. You really should watch it.
Yeah.
It's so great. It's so great.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. It's hilarious. I think yes, watch it. I gave it an 8+ out of 10. Uh, and if you liked the show, I have some comedies that aren't some of these aren't as extreme, but these are just some of like the most over the top comedies I can think of. I have Azumanga Daioh, which it's much more wholesome than this show. School Rumble, which is my favorite comedy anime. Konosuba, um, Mysterious Girlfriend X, just because it's like weird. Like this show is weird. So is Mysterious Girlfriend X. Seto Kai Yakuin Domo, just because of the large amount of dirty jokes in the show. Um, in a boring world where the concept of dirty jokes doesn't exist, that show is over the top dirty comedy show. It's hilarious, not quite in weird, but not as absurd as this somehow. Um, in the show, my bride is a mermaid, which was made by the director of Asobi Asobase. Um, but that's also an over the top comedy. I haven't finished it, but I watched like the first 6 episodes. So, yes, Asobi
Yeah.
Asobase.
Yeah. And then my what recommendations I can give. If you like the art style of it, in a weird sort of way, Mob Psycho 100, maybe. I mean, I thought there were definitely funny parts to Mob Psycho 100. It's not like constant comedy. Like there's some action to it. But then The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. That is one of my more more highly rated, I guess. Like that's one of my better. I don't even know what I'm saying. I enjoyed Disastrous Life of Psyche K. I think that it was that was a really funny show. Both seasons I thought were pretty funny and generally well made. But that's just like the story of a guy with psychic powers who's just like ridiculous. It's pretty much constant comedy, and there's like random action. It's funny action though, and there's like romance that's funny. You've got like your retard character, just comedy. It's a good comedy. I would recommend it to people looking for a comedy.
So, yes, Asobi Asobase, hilarious.
Great, great comedy. It's a great comedy.
An anime. I'm about to spit a controversial opinion right here. You ready? This anime is 10 times more hilarious than Hinamatsuri, which is not that hard to accomplish because Hinamatsuri is not even that funny, in my opinion. I didn't personally like it. I know everyone loves it, but I didn't think it was that good. There's only one part that I thought was like, oh, I thought that was really good. But other than that, I thought Hinamatsuri was meh. That's my controversial opinion.
Hmm. I think it's safe to say a not controversial opinion is that Asobi Asobase is a great comedy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, comedy fans, you need yourself some Pastimers Club.
Oh yeah, workshop of fun.
So yes. Uh so now, are there any questions in the chat you'd like us to answer? People watching the Twitch stream live. While we
Oh
do that,
wait,
Carson
Tommy,
is
you
going
forgot my thing. Oh wait,
Carson's
never mind.
going to announce a challenge for
All
you,
right,
the listener, before next episode.
all right, my viewers. So last week I issued the challenge to watch something from your plan to watch on Mal. Something that nobody ever does. How scandalous, am I right? So I actually did. I started watching Mob Psycho 102, which was on my plan to watch, and
I watched Honey and Clover, which is on my plan to watch.
exactly. So we both did it. So now this this for this episode, your challenge is to watch a hentai that you are proud enough to say that you watched to add it to your mal.
And
So
watch the whole
watch
episode,
the
at
whole
least
thing,
a whole 20-minute episode.
Exactly. So, no like clips of anything. You gotta watch the whole thing straight through. Even if it only takes you like 30 seconds to get your rocks off. Watch the whole thing and add it to Mal. People worked really hard to make that. And you know what? Show some appreciation. Give it, give it your honest opinion. But, add it to your Mal. Say, yes, this is a form of media that I have seen, and I'm willing to say that I've watched it. I'm gonna do it. Probably tonight.
I already have I have some hentai on my list. So,
You can add
do I have
another
to
one.
add another one?
Yes.
Okay. I'll add another.
I'm gonna do it.
Or I'll watch
So,
another.
so yeah, if you do the challenge, you'll be a cool cat. And maybe you'll even get a shout out in this section next week. You never know.
That's a
This
good
is a new
idea.
thing we're starting.
That's a good
So,
idea.
if you keep up with the challenges, we'll have like tiers. So like God tier is like every single challenge you complete it. Very cool. I don't actually know how that would work.
Well, I
I
imagine
would say honor system, but also I don't trust anybody. So like I don't know.
what I have planned, since we're just starting off, as we build a listener base, I plan on making like a Discord server for the podcast, and
Ooh,
that way, that's how we'd be able to log that.
That's a good call. I
But
like
I
that.
don't think we're at the point right now where we would do that yet. So
Not yet, but anybody who's listening to this probably has some way to talk to Theo, I guess. Talk to him. I mean, or you can talk to me
you can
if you want.
tweet at us at OT Anime Podcast on Twitter,
Yeah, do
and
that.
make sure you tweet what you watched and a link to your myanimelist.net, and I will check it and I
Yeah,
will verify it.
and then I will give you a very special shout out to whoever does the challenge.
All right. And so, a question from the chat: favorite Persona game or Shin Megami Tensei game? I've only played Persona 5 and Persona 4, so Persona 5.
I've only played Persona 5, so Persona 5. Well,
Wait,
no, I have played
you played the first Persona game, didn't you?
Oh, that's true. I did play the first Persona game, but that was garbage. Well, I also I did play Shin Megami Tensei, but Persona 5 all the way. Great game. Love that game.
I've heard that there's one of the Shin Megami Tensei games really good but really
they
hard.
made one for the 3DS, and that's the one that I played, and that was a good game. But I think they remade it for something. I don't know. I can't keep I don't have an excellent memory of that, but I mean it was a pretty solid game, but definitely Persona 5. That's a great JRPG. Very good.
Oh, since we're running a bit long, unless there's any more questions that come up as I'm closing it out, we'll start moving on to the finale. So this was episode 4 of the Otaku Talk Anime Podcast. Today we talked about anime cliches and the anime Asobi Asobase. Next episode, which instead of 2 weeks from now, is going to be the next 1 week from now, at least from streaming it. So you're not gonna have to wait 2 weeks. We're gonna do it next Saturday at 8 p.m. On March 16th, 2019 is when we're gonna be live. I don't know when it will be uploaded onto the other platforms.
I mean, at some point.
But
it'll get there.
probably like a day or two after. But our topic is going to be we're gonna talk about the results of the spring break binge challenge between
Oh
Carson and
boy.
I, and we're gonna
Oh
like
boy.
maybe talk about some of the shows we've watched because
For
we're gonna
sure.
have
For
watched a
sure.
lot of shows, and then we're
For
gonna be
sure.
discussing like the show we're gonna talk about next week is just gonna be me. We put this in here so that I could just gush, gush, and gush and gush because we're gonna be doing Clanad and Clanad After Story. So I'm ready for that. I'm gonna have to rewatch Clanad After Story this week, and I don't know if my body's ready, but I've seen it 4 times, so
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it
I've
is. You
seen
know
it.
you can watch it again.
I've seen it 4 times, so what's a fifth time? Am I right?
Oof. Oof. I
Uh,
mean, you're
I
right.
mean, I'm
That's
already.
basically that's basically me and Steins Gate. So
It's our. I'm already a emotional husk. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good episode. You're gonna get to hear me talking about something that I passionately adore.
mm,
So once again, thank you everyone for listening. You can find us on multiple different platforms. You can find we're hosted by Anchor.fm, so you can find us on Anchor.fm/Otaku Talk. Uh, we stream live if you're listening on another platform. We stream our podcast recording live on Twitch. So you can find us on twitch.tv/Otaku Talk Anime Podcast. You can also we also upload the VOD from Twitch directly to YouTube. So you can find us on YouTube at Otaku Talk Anime Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at OT Anime Podcast. And also, you can listen to us if you're listening on YouTube or Twitch. You can find us on iTunes or Google Play. Um, just recently got put on to Google Play. I put us on there yesterday. But if you're listening on one of those sites, please give us a good rating. We like it. I mean, we probably are terrible at this, but you
you
know,
know we're starting out. You know every smashed like, every subscription, every rating that's like a good rating. You know, it helps give us confidence and hope for the future. You know, if you enjoyed it and you know other people who are also otakus, maybe if they would be interested in listening to the podcast, tell them about it.
yeah, and you can
Let everybody have a
you can
good
give
time.
us feedback in these iTunes and Google Play reviews so we can take that feedback to improve the podcast going on in the future. So all the more reasons to help us out there. So yes, uh, that's all we've got. So thank you all for listening. I am your boy Theo.
And I'm your boy Carson. So
Oh, I have to go find the outro to Asobi
oh,
Asobase, which just so happens to be a hardcore rock song.
that's true. Doesn't match up, but still,
So
very
yeah,
fitting.
um, so yeah, see you guys watching on Twitch. See you guys next week. People only listening. Hope to see you in the Twitch chat. On next Saturday. But if not,
But
I understand. I like to
any
listen. I like to listen to anime podcasts when I drive to school. So
any way you look at it, thank you for listening. It means a
we
lot.
appreciate it, and we love each and every one of you. So just keep enjoying anime. Anime, great. So
It really is.
thank you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Signing off.